on table 1, you can see that we flopped top 2. I really like donking on a board this connected, and I really like the sizing of going really big, where we're going to be in a spot that gives us a lot, like where we're not going to get a lot of folds. And I like bombing the turn here as well, is going for something like $4. And really, the fact that this guy's a 94-21, you know, obviously makes this a can't fold situation, but it's a really ugly turn card. Basically completing all draws. And when this guy decides to raise us, it certainly doesn't make me excited. Yeah, and this guy looks like he doesn't know any other bet than like min raise or pot. You know, it's probably a fold in this spot, but it's close considering this guy's such an enormous fish in this spot. Where, you know, that, like, I think that the river card, all things considered, is going to put me over the edge in that spot. Where, you know, I kind of think, like, you know, that just put too many things out there. A set of 9s perhaps was one of them. And this is a spot where I really dislike 3-betting for the reason of we want our 94-21 to stick around. But I think even with the guy being such an enormous fish on, you know, on the board, basically nothing has gotten there. And when he like, certainly he's capable of betting really largely with like, with basically anything that beats us, be it a set, be it a flush, be it a straight, even the small straight, I think he's going to be pretty aggressive. In this situation, basically a dream spot on table 1 where we have an overpair. Ideally, the other regular will go away. He doesn't. That's actually fantastic. This is just all sorts of free money because the regular's calling range is very, very wide. And in this spot, I think 14's way too small. I really dislike that sizing. I probably would be going something much more in the range of setting up for a much better shove size on the turn. And what I mean by that is basically you can see that on you know, on this board, basically now we have $39 into $39, where if we had simply made that, say, $16 instead of $14, we would have put $4 extra in the pot, taken away 2 from us. So the pot would have been 43, we would have had 37, and it would have been a much more appealing size, as opposed to basically a pot size shove, which, granted, against this player might not be the end of the world. I don't think he's ever folding a flush. I don't think he's ever folding a 6. Where, you know, but really, like, I think his calling range does dwindle a bit when it goes kind of over the pot size. So certainly something to consider in this spot of always be aware of your sizings on later streets, where I think that that's going to be a mistake. And we do end up getting him to call with a 6, which is pretty fantastic. And I think just a small bet sizing error there. And not to mention that this player is so fishy that, like, by betting 14, we really do kind of price the regular in for calling with any sort of draw in that spot, because he knows that he's going to get paid off by the fish if the turn does bring in the draw. So I think going something even as big as 18 in that spot is going to be far better than making that $14 bet in that spot.